Thank God it's Friday. Good morning to everyone and welcome to Access at 9 webinar. The webinar which is held every Friday at 9 a.m. by Access Communications. My name is Christian Fafri. I'm working for Access Nordic Sales and I'm the host for this event today. Do you have what it takes to survive in the city? Well, it's a good question and I hope Andrea Sorri from Access Communication will answer that. Network video for safer cities is the topic today. And Andrea, are you ready to take the show?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Christian, for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. So today we talk about safe cities. I'm going to share with you a little bit about our vision and my experience by traveling all around the world, seeing what's happening in the cities and how technology can improve safety as well as efficiency. So basically, when we talk about safe cities, we know that center and periphery are the most area where criminality happens. Crime rate is directly associated to the size and density, and we need to live more and more in crowded environment. So the concentration of these factors really needs to be faced by technology as a solution against different level of crimes, from person to property and so on. We have in cities, in the center of the cities, the highest concentration of crimes in different forms, in different profiles, profiles of perpetrators. And we have challenges. We have challenges in detecting when it's possible, but also understanding, investigate, and eventually develop a predictive model to understand when the crime is going to happen again. Our approach from a technology perspective starts very much close to the problem location, close to where the problem happened. So in order to be close to the problem, we need to have intelligence at the edge. And this is why our cameras are becoming more and more intelligent, to be close to the issue in order to detect, but also understand and investigate. Eventually also predict the problems. And one of the most common approach to be intelligent is by adding analytics to our cameras. Analytics, it's, let's say, in the industry since a long while, but in the safe city, in the city environment is where it faces the highest level of challenges. So as we said, we have analytics who have the mission to detect, analytics with the mission to perform forensic analysis. And lately, we see more and more the development of analytics toward operational issues, the so-called big data analysis. When it comes to detect, the combination camera plus analytics has the mission to provide real-time alerts. That is in order to allow the law enforcement forces to respond to events as they unfold, to be right on time on the issue, and to be basically aware about what's going on in the different monitored location. This is probably where we have the most of the challenges in the real environments because of the variables, because of the disparate and disparate conditions. When it comes to use analytics in conjunction with camera for understanding and investigate, then we have much more available tools as of today in order to reduce in time, reduce in cost, in resources. The investigation processes nowadays, thanks to intelligent cameras, but mainly thanks to smart use of metadata, has been improved very much. So we see in our ecosystem of partners different solutions that really bring up actual value as of today in the existing installations and in new installations. What we see a little bit new into the city surveillance industry, it's what we call operation and predict. If we make a parallel with the retail industry, it's like using cameras for people counting a heat map, where the stakeholders are the marketing people, and the mission is not against theft or crimes, but it's more about intelligent analysis for efficiency management and business. We see the same opportunities with the big data analysis. We see cameras as a source of huge amount of data, and new players into the ecosystem, those big data actors that can understand and receive and translate the information from video, translating them to information for understanding, evaluation, and prediction. So when we have the combination of these three use of intelligent video analytics, then we need to aim for scalability. We need to aim for openness in order to start basically from small pilots, small proof of concept, and scale up to wide city entities. In order to be scalable, our strategy is very much to invest and to rely and to count much on the edge intelligence. So pre-processing of video within the camera itself, and then streaming data to retrieve video when required, because the information that might be retrieved from a camera in the city might be different purposes. So we really need to be optimizing the distribution, the gathering of those informations. And then we have the edge analytics. I mean, there are different use cases of edge analytics, like perimeter protection, unauthorized access, assets protection, and so on. These are all very well established solutions in the edge analysis. We need to count on those solutions already today. So let's talk a little bit about situational awareness. We have challenges, we have responses, we have outcome. How we can improve the situational awareness? Well, as I said, big challenge comes from managing the crowd. Managing the crowd, it's going to be a new area of business. It's going to be something that we will be more and more concentrated in developing technology for. In order to understand the crowd behavior and predict the crowd behavior gathering and characteristics of the dynamics, we really need to have image quality. So resolution, as well as dynamics in contrast and light sensitivity, it's essential to provide overcrowding and crowd behavior analysis. So, safe city, it's a reality or it's a perception? Well, cameras solve issues, that's for sure. Yeah, cameras can be a tool for people, not only for law enforcement. And basically, nowadays, what we see from the news is that every time there is a crime, there is an event in a city, one of the first questions of law enforcement officers is, where are the cameras? Where are their footages? In the world, the high majority of crimes have unidentified perpetrator. So that means that image quality is essential to any level, for any level of installation, for any level of profile of perpetrators. We could be able to renounce image quality only when the intervention time is zero, therefore practically never. Edmond Locard, which is a French doctor who basically invented the fingerprint reading said that the slightest piece of information we could offer to investigators could make the difference between a cold case and a conviction. What we say at Axis, what we think is that the slightest bit of information the video can offer can make that difference. So when we think about cameras, when all the stakeholders think about cameras in the city, should have a little bit the same mission. When we talk about identification, we have several challenges, in particular in the city environments. Identifications can come from a reference of a facial composite or from a database that can be sourced from different stakeholders, from Interpol, for instance, but also from social media. So when we think about the camera's resolution, image quality, when the purpose is identification, we really also need to take that into account when we make the design of our project. When we make a design of a city surveillance system, it's extremely important to define the mission of each camera. That camera will be then able to perform several different operations and provide several different services, but it has to have one main mission. So most of the time when I'm meeting the press, journalists, but also end customers, I get the question, how effective are cameras in a city? Well, most of the time they ask, what's the crime reduction? Well, statistics is not all about that. There are some challenges when we compare statistics, like in number and grade of crimes, sometimes the inaccuracy of those data. There are also differences in legal definitions. But then there are also factors that are less related to statistical, but more to subjective aspects like isolation, vulnerability, and value. Not always the most perceived dangerous places are actually dangerous if we think about walking in the dark, in the night, maybe walking a street that is full of garbage, or walking in a square where there is people gathering together and making noise, so to say. So not always the perception is related to real crime. And then we have also another factor that is becoming more and more interesting, which is the response time. How quickly the emergency calls are responded by the law enforcement or by the rescue team. So when we talk about total cost of ownership and return on investment of a city surveillance installations, first of all, we have the well-known factual indicators. Optimization of police staff, administrative work for police officers is strongly reduced. Investigation time is also reduced. We can increase the number of solved cases. We reduce cost to recover vandalism damages, for instance, to mention a real specific one. And also to predict trends in particular times of crimes and city areas. Then, as I said before, we need to take into account also perception aspects of the citizen and the response time as a new indicator where our technology can help with. Another thing it's about scalability, situational awareness, and integration is the fact that when a crime happens, or an accident and so on, the investigation phases involve the cameras that are owned by the cities, but also involves cameras that are privately owned. Let's think about gas stations, banks, retails, and so on. So when there is an accident, usually the police define the possible paths of escape of the perpetrator, Then they make a map of available public cameras, then map the available private cameras, and then they start collecting the videos from both sources. When it comes from public cameras, that's an easy job. But when it comes collecting videos, footages from privates, that takes a lot of time. And it's a task that is subjected to different human errors, availability, of course, and it ends up in something that, at the end of the day, provide a very poor image quality. So we believe that working with open standards, with open platform, already at the edge, from the camera perspective, will enable an interconnection or at least an intersharing of video for investigation purpose in the future, which will enhance also this aspect when it comes to crime investigation. So by using cameras that are based on open standards, that are based on image quality, by making also the private aware about the importance of having such characteristics in their own private systems, will enable the collection of footages from private systems in a much smoother and easier way. I don't think we can foresee to have cameras everywhere public owned. I really foresee the need of facilitated integration. I know this is a topic that is on the talk since a while, but I'm seeing that the last technology development and the maturity of certain countries and certain systems is improving in this direction. So we have been talking about statistical factors. Now I would like to talk about a little bit the perception, since this is becoming also very, very sensitive for the governments. So the citizen as a user, this is a little bit the slogan. So the citizen reports issues, the citizen is a user of the system. So the citizen allows the people, the law enforcement to access his video if required. This is also another way where technology and with the Internet of Things, for instance, will facilitate a better perception of the citizen, for the citizen about the cameras in the streets. And last, as mentioned, is about the response time. And it's very tough to measure and compare, of course, but we see that also ISO is attempting to look into that. So network video can be used also to measure the response time when things happen in public places. And that will be factual statistical data that can be used for the police, for the public authority to improve processes and to demonstrate the efficiencies in terms of response time within the city. So we are looking for indicators. We have indicators related to statistics. We have indicators related to perception, and the media plays a key role into that. And we will see more indicators into the response time. All these indicators basically are represented in this graphic where you see where things can improve if there is no crime and if there is a perception of safety. So we can move from territorial control, which was, let's say, the first kind of installation, the first type of solutions our cameras were deployed for since the last 10 years. Now we are moving more about safe city, and we will scale up to smart cities. The ambition is to have a development of the technology for an enhancement of the solution from a security purpose to efficiency management in a city, but also to gather information in order to create a life cycle approach where we can develop a basic predictive model toward crimes, toward security and safety issues, but also toward the management of the city, assets and services. How this can then really happen thanks to Axis? How Axis make the difference here? Well, This is a little bit more technical as an aspect, but I really wanted to share. If we consider an installation in a city along the life cycle, we can already see now how installation happened 5, 7, even 10 years ago are still able to scale up due to the fact that open standards are there and the flexibility and the ease of integration. If in fact we correlated the life cycle with the integration effort, and that means very much integration in terms of technology integration, from putting components together as well as writing software to perform the integration and to optimize the integration for the user experience. We see that if we use an Axis product, because the openness and the coherence of our APIs is in the root of our technology since the beginning, well, the starting point is much higher than versus other companies, other solutions. This is very much because we believe that the integration happened at the edge. So when we talk about integrating a solution like analytics at the edge, like interconnecting cameras, for instance, connecting a fixed cameras with a PTZ cameras, a thermal cameras with an horn speaker, a network station with the entire system of access control. Most of that integration happens already at the edge with almost zero or very little effort in terms of software development. So that energy, those resources, the budget that would be required for those in implementation can therefore use for other more clever tricks or solutions. So by using technologies that really simplify the integration at the edge and make the integration easy, that would save energy and resources and budget, as I said, for more complex and more customer-oriented solution. In fact, what we notice is that with solutions that do not take the openness as a standard approach, there is very soon a limit of the exponential potential of the technology itself. Very often it's a matter of finding compromises. Our approach is very much to enable integration even further by simplifying the basic interoperability at the edge, so that the system integrator can really play a key role, can really put an effort and bring value into the solution, not putting just components together, but more looking at the user needs and choosing the right components for that specific solution. In a more hopefully practical example, what we have seen in cities along the life cycle is about installation and deployment, starting from a first level of issues is, for instance, problems in a certain location, night party noise, big events, and so on. And then the answer to those issues is with a certain level of solutions, like camera system in the streets, in rural areas, in buildings, and so on. Then we have maybe other new locations, other new parties, other new problems, new big events, and so on in different places. And then we need to scale the solution. We need to perhaps deploy more cameras or move the existing cameras. So the scalability really happens along the life cycle because of technology development and evolution, but also because the problems within the city can change and can evolve. And we strongly believe we need to give the technology to end users and to system integrator to facilitate the solution to evolve according to the problems in the city. So this was basically my last slide, and I would like now to leave some room for questions. if any.
Yes, thank you, Andrea. Please ask some questions. You have the question box there. Please keep on writing, and Andrea will answer them. Okay, we have our first question here. Yes, you may. May we receive slides and recording? Yes, you will. You will, Andrea, if you can say, well, you have sent me already the slides, so I can just add them on to the recording. But this is, you will have it within an hour after the webinar. And you will also get a link so you can share it with other ones. This webinar can be watched on demand later on also. Any other questions? Yes. You get some thanks, Andrea.
Thank you.
I think everyone joins with those thanks because it was a very interesting webinar. Very interesting presentation. Any other questions? We still have around 4 minutes time for taking questions and answering them. Well, I will ask you one question, Andrea. What do you think about managed services with video and cities?
Oh, this is a good point. Actually, when it comes to the business model for the city surveillance in the safe city, I think it's really much about services in the future. We foresee this because of many services are already provided to cities. So this is a business model the cities are used to. Our channel partners are becoming also more service oriented. But also there is another factor that since the technology is evolving so fast and so to say the camera themselves become very much updated every 8, 10, 12 months, the city surveillance as a service model would facilitate also, would enable the end users to have an update components park, camera park in place. So definitely I foresee the city surveillance as a service as a potential business model. Who will start first? I don't know yet. I would foresee potentially Nordics. These are the countries where I see the most of tempo in that sense. Who will be the service provider? That is also something that honestly I still need to discover.
Good, thank you. All right. Any other questions? The folks seems to be quite well off with your presentations. They are stunned. They have no questions at all. They are happy. And now they will just have the link to the presentation, to the recording and to the slides. In that sense, let's finish it for today then. Thank you very much, Andrea. It was a very interesting presentation. And thank you all guys for attending this webinar. See you next Friday again, hopefully. And keep on rocking. Have an enjoyable day and even more enjoyable weekend. Goodbye to you all. See you next Friday. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Christian. Bye.